This is episode 19 of the Brand Authority Podcast. Today, I'm going to make a case for influencer marketing, and by the end, you're going to see how this can change your business. Stick around.
This is the Brand Authority Podcast, the show for growth-driven leaders who want to win more customers, increase revenue, and gain the competitive edge. Broadcasting from sunny Los Angeles, here's your host, Rebecca Radice.
Well, hello and welcome back to the Brand Authority Podcast, which is brought to you by the List Building Blueprint. If you have been struggling to grow your email list and convert leads into paying customers, I have two magic words for you. Lead magnets. In this free list building blueprint, you're going to learn how to create the perfect lead magnet and email offer. And no, this is not a complicated process. By the time you're done reading it, you're going to know exactly what content your audience wants and how to serve it up to them to grow a loyal and enthusiastic email list. To grab your guide, go to RebeccaRadice.com/LBB, as in List Building Blueprint. So imagine this situation. You're looking to buy a product and you have two options. A brand you found online and possibly you've even seen ads for, and one that was recommended to you by someone you know, like, and trust, even somebody you respect and look up to. So for you, which one would you pick? Now, I'm pretty sure you're going to pick the brand recommended by someone you know. I know that because 92% of people say they trust recommendations from individuals. In fact, they even trust people and their recommendations if they don't know them. And they do this over any other type of recommendation, especially one that just comes from brands. That is exactly why I am a huge proponent of influencer marketing when done right, and why it can be such a big deal for your business and really a game changer in the sense of how you market your business. Now, if you're still not sold on influencer marketing, stay tuned because I'm going to show you what a big deal it can be for your business and how to wade through those waters. I know it can be a little confusing as to where do I get started? How do I find relevant influencers? How do I reach out to them? I'm going to kind of cut through all of that today and show you exactly how you can leverage influencer marketing in your business. So the first thing I want to talk about is ROI. Huge follower and subscriber numbers, they are fantastic and quite often what people look for when they are looking to engage with influencers. They look at those as views and engagement and reach and all of those so-called results that we want when we are on the hunt for an influencer. But let me tell you this right off the bat. While those numbers can be fantastic, they don't tell the real story. And the real story is the return on your investment. Are they actually going to get results for your business? Influencer marketing is one of the most effective ways to build rapport with a new market, to get yourself in front of a whole new group of people, and to be able to tap into a market that's eager to learn more about you, to consume your product. According to a case study by Tap Influence and Nielsen Catalina Solutions, influencer marketing delivers 11 times the ROI of digital marketing. That's huge. And the best part about influencer marketing is that content doesn't expire like a lot of ads do. In fact, most of the influencer-created content, such as blog posts, image posts, vlogs, they stay online and they keep bringing those results day after day, week after week, month after month. But the real key here for you is aligning your business with an influencer that's relevant to your audience. So we're going to talk about a few different ways that you can monitor their social channels, pay attention to their conversations, watch their interaction. Really ask yourself if they've built a tribe and a community, or do they simply feel like they're racking up the likes or they're gaming the system? Because you really have to cut through that clutter to find those deeply invested influencers that truly activate their audience. Because once you've found that person, then you can start to build that relationship. And relationships are really born out of an authentic experience. And I know I talk a lot about creating that experience for your audience. And so one thing you really have to look for is that experience your influencer is creating is authentic. It's also aligned with your experience. So the experience that you're creating for your audience. As we're seeing, traditional advertising is becoming less and less effective, and it's pretty obvious why. It interrupts the customer experience. It's no wonder 47% of online customers use ad block technology. I don't know about you, but I sure do. But influencer marketing, it's a totally different way to reach that audience. Because think about it, while people, your audience, can block out ads, there's no way they can block out native advertising, especially when it's coming from somebody like an influencer who they follow on purpose. They follow this person because they appreciate the content they share. They like their style, they like their personality, they like their tone of voice, they like everything about them. So the last thing they're going to want to do is tune them out. So when you're able to find that influencer who does really relate to your audience, that allows you to extend your reach into a whole new market, all of a sudden you have this organic growth that you couldn't have done otherwise. By teaming up with and working with an influencer that's relevant to your audience, all of a sudden, your brand has organic reach in a way it would never have had outside of that. You are now a part of a natural and very authentic experience, but also a very authentic conversation with that audience. And it's an experience because it's tied to somebody they know, like, and trust, that they're very much more likely to A, enjoy that experience, and B, remember it for months and even years to come. Another aspect of influencer marketing and why it can be so incredibly important to your business is that built-in consumer trust. Now, like I mentioned before, a lot of people don't trust ads these days, and it's no wonder we're just overwhelmed and bombarded, and they're coming at us from anywhere and everywhere we go. But people do trust the opinion of those that they're connected to or that they follow because they enjoy their style, everything I just mentioned. And these are the influencers they've been following and listening to. And this is really a critical component because too often, like I talked about at the very beginning, people get very caught up in numbers, and whether, it's how many followers they have, how many likes they have on a certain post. They don't do that deeper dive into whether or not that influencer is actually influencing buying behavior. Because after all, you're teaming up with an influencer because you're looking to get something out of that relationship, right? Whether it's downloading your app, whether it's purchasing from your online store, whether it's taking your latest course or buying your book. Whatever the case might be, you need that influencer to be able to activate their audience to take that next step with you. And believe it or not, influence doesn't equal the ability to get your audience to take action. So really pay attention. Go over to Facebook, go over to Twitter, Instagram, wherever this influencer is spending the majority of their time. And don't just look at it from a surface level. You need to look under the surface. You need to pay attention to how many people are actually commenting. Is it different types of comments, or does it feel like they're all automated and forced? Are they racking up a whole lot of likes pretty fast? That can be a telltale sign of automation. So really pay attention to what's going on there, and then check to see, are they monitoring? Are they listening? Are they coming back? And are they interactive with that audience? Because you want your influencer to be that person that doesn't just post and run, doesn't post content and off they go, but they actually come back and they answer questions. Because what if somebody has a question about your product or service? You want to make sure that that experience is a positive one and that that person is taking care of them in the way that you would as well. So now when you partner with this particular person, think about the consumer trust that you are basically buying into. You are inserting yourself into a circle of trust that they have already established with their audience, and you're doing it in a very conversational, very organic way. But in order to keep it natural, you need to make sure that your product or service, and we've talked about this, is relevant. And this is where I see so many people choose poorly when it comes to influencers, is because you didn't do enough research to really go under the surface, as I said, and make sure that that influencer is perfectly aligned with your product, with your service, with your niche, that this is something their audience really needs and they're going to want to buy. And you also want to make sure that that influencer has a good understanding of what you're offering. So they've used it, they know, like, and trust it. It's something that not only they use, but they know wholeheartedly, because they know their audience inside and out, that they're going to want it too, and that they can present it in a natural way that shows a very clear benefit to their audience. So next up, let's talk about having a targeted audience. This is another big benefit to you and your business when you align with the right influencer. Now, of course, we all know influencers are called influencers because they're popular, because they have a solid following. They have a very active following, or at least they should. Now, think about this. What happens if most of those followers learn about your product or service? What would that do for your business? If all of a sudden you were able to get in front of 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 people that desperately needed your solution. This could be a huge game changer for you, couldn't it? Yes, it could, but this goes back to really understanding who their audience is and ensuring that that audience is your target audience. Because why waste time and money getting your content in front of millions of people, potentially, if none of them even care about what you have to offer? So find influencers in your niche and ones that have the same target audience as you. The easiest way for you to do this is, again, just go through their content, pop over to their social networks, go through the last several months of the content that they've shared and pay attention to the people that are interacting with them. So for example, if you have a local business, make sure you're also checking for location. Is this person in your local area? Are they well known? Are they established? Do they have a good foothold within your community? This could be incredibly important, especially if you're doing in-store. So maybe a face-to-face, a meet and greet, something like that, where you want to know this person not only has the ability to create a crowd online, but to draw that crowd to your business. All right, so now that we've covered the benefits of influencer marketing, let's talk about how you can actually find these people that are out there and possibly interested in working with your business. So, one of my favorite tools is BuzzSumo, and with BuzzSumo, you could find bloggers that are writing about your industry, your niche, and what you're able to do is actually sort based off of your keywords. So, whatever that topic is that you're looking for, and then look at how much engagement they're getting on those posts. So, BuzzSumo will sort that based off of how many social shares they got across Facebook, Twitter, and you can really start to look at, is this somebody that goes viral often based off of the topic? You can click through to their blog. You can take a look at, is there a conversation happening around their blog? So it may be that you want to partner with an influencer to write a blog post. This is a great place to start. Whether you're a lifestyle blogger, travel blogger, blogging about social media, whatever the case might be, that blog is out there. And those people are already engaging a community, and it's a community you want to get in front of. So just pop over to BuzzSumo, type in that search for whatever your topic is. So it could be lifestyle bloggers, and then start to take a look at who those people are. And the great part about that is you can also connect with them across social media. So you can click right over to Twitter or to Facebook and start to see what is this community that they're creating. And I would suggest that as you go through, make a list of your top 10 potential influencers. Write those down. Write down what their qualities are. What about their tone of voice or their style really speaks to you and you know it would speak to your audience? What about their content feels in total alignment with yours? So, for example, if you're kind of funny and off the cuff and you're witty and this person is as well, your content's probably going to speak really well to their audience. Whereas if you align yourself with an influencer that's very somber or very serious, might not hit its mark as well as it would with that other influencer. So don't be afraid to move through people, work through, and really create your perfect list. So then you can start to do the outreach, which we'll talk about in just a minute. The next obvious place to look is social media. So dependent on which social channel your company is really focused on, that's where you're going to want to start. So let's say the majority of your audience has been built up over on Instagram. Let's start by looking at a few different places on Instagram. First of all, start by searching hashtags. So go and do a quick search of one particular hashtag. And what you'll find is there are similar hashtags that are listed. Start to click through there. And what you're going to see is that hashtag hub. So for, let's just say, social media, at the top of every single hashtag you click through, there are those 9 Instagram posts that sit up top within that hub as the trending posts. Click through each one of those and start to take a look at who are those people. What type of content are they sharing? How are they talking about that type of content? And then do some further digging by clicking through to their profile, looking at all of their other content, and again, writing this list of people down of, is this somebody that could potentially be a great advocate for your business? You can also do a search by people. So if you know somebody that's influential within that space, when you follow them on Instagram, Instagram is automatically going to serve up additional people that are very similar that you might want to follow. This is a great way to start clicking through to all of those people, influencers, and taking a look again at the type of content they're sharing, the type of engagement they're getting, and just really deciding if this is somebody you want to add to your list. Next up, you can ask So do you already know people that are influential? Are you already connected with them? Are you already chatting with these people? You could just reach out, send them a direct message, ask them, or are there people within your niche, within your space that are potentially following these people that you're wanting to connect with? Ask them, who's your favorite person to follow for social media marketing? All you have to do is ask. It's that simple, and people love to be able to offer their advice, to give you their feedback or their thoughts. So don't be afraid to reach out. Of course, as always, this comes with a caveat. You are not to spam anybody. You are not reaching out with the sole purpose that you really, want to work with this potential person or influencer. Be very true and authentic in your intentions and what you're looking for. So make sure these are people that you know, like, and trust, because they're giving you important feedback. You don't want to get feedback from people that you don't really know how they make these decisions, and you can't really trust that this is the exact right person you should be connecting with. Another great place to find influencers dependent on your target market is LinkedIn. And I think too often this is totally overlooked as an option. So just like with any other social network, you could go over to LinkedIn and do a search based off of your keywords or your terms, those phrases that your audience or your influencers would be using when they're talking about your product or service. So take a look, and again, start to scroll through, see who those people are. You can look at their posts, and see if they're blogging on LinkedIn, over on Pulse. You can see if they're getting interaction, if they're getting any engagement on that content. Now, once you want to start reaching out, there's no reason for you to be shy just because it's LinkedIn. Just start to interact like you would on any other type of social network. Comment on their posts. Maybe reshare one of their posts. If you run a group, you could ask them to join your group. But just as in anything else, you want to be honest about your intentions. So when you do reach out, if you send them an email, if you send them a request to connect with you, make sure that you're adjusting that pre-created connection message and you're letting them know exactly why you're looking to connect and what it is about them that inspired you to reach out. I'll tell you that I get, probably over 100 LinkedIn messages a day. And the only ones that pique my interest are the ones that aren't that standard LinkedIn message, but actually somebody that took the time to put some thought into that message. Now, I'll leave you with a couple of additional tools that can be a great way to find very niche specific influencers. First one is Pitchbox, and Pitchbox lets you find influencers in a matter of seconds. It's just super easy to use. And what you can do is not only find them, but then create a customized outreach email that then you can start to manage that relationship. So it's a very easy system that lets you keep track of each step of your outreach. So if you're looking to reach out to quite a few influencers and you need an easy way to manage that, Pitchbox is a great place for you to start. Another that I mentioned previously is Tap Influence, and it is a little bit different in that it's an opt-in marketplace that gives you instant access to thousands of registered, they've already been vetted, very experienced influencers that have been very specific about who they want to work with, who they want to connect with. So it makes it very simple for you to start to find, manage, really measure and track the effectiveness of your outreach and those relationships. Now, we talked about using a tool like BuzzSumo to track the social shares, but I wanted to make one final final quick point on, okay, so if you're looking to connect with bloggers, you want to make sure that, yeah, they're getting the social shares, but they're actually getting traffic. People are actually clicking through, they're reading this content. And if they're using Bitly, which so many people do, it's very easy for you to do this. So you can actually take a look at the stats of any Bitly link, and it's super easy to do. All you have to do is pop over to Google or whatever web browser you use, copy that Bitly, so bit.ly or bitly.com, and then just put a plus sign at the very end of it. What it's going to do is take you over to the actual Bitly page where you can see where that Bitly originated from and how many total clicks. You can see refers, locations. There's quite a bit of information you're able to see and really start to understand what kind of traffic is this person getting to their blog post. So a lot of important ways that you can better understand not only who these influencers are, but how they're influencing people to take action. So there you go. That is the case for influencer marketing and why it can be such a critical piece in your marketing strategy. I'd love to hear from you, hear your feedback. You can always email us at help@RebeccaRadis.com. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in to the Brand Authority Podcast. If you haven't done it already, I would ask you a huge favor if you could hop over to iTunes and leave your 5-star review. This is such an important way for others to find us, so thank you in advance for taking just a couple extra minutes to pop over. You can do this by going to radiantla.com/authority. And there you can share your thoughts. And P.S., please do not forget, if you have friends, family, coworkers that would really enjoy what we're doing here at the Brand Authority Podcast, I would ask that you would share it with them as well. Until next time, I look forward to seeing you online and back here for another episode of the Brand Authority Podcast.